this is one of the things that we're watching. Snow versus the ice. Why are we going to see ice if that ends up being the case? Well, it has to do with this central layer right here of the atmosphere, 850 millibars. This is about a mile above the surface. Watch what happens Sunday afternoon. This is the European models favoring. It gets up to above freezing, which in that turn, that's going to melt any snowfall, and then it's going to refreeze when it gets down to the surface. Either that high risk, pretty unusual. The last one we had was May 6th of last year in Oklahoma and Kansas. And the last time this was on a day 2 was 2012. We haven't had one in Virginia since 2011, and Roanoke has only had one. That happened back in 1993.
A cold and rainy week so far. Really doesn't feel like May. What else can we expect?
No, it feels more like what we'd expect to say in maybe November, something like that. Yeah. But as for what we're going to see this week, definitely going to see improvement. It's going to take a little bit, but we're going to see it. As for today, today's been abnormally cold, to say the least. It's actually been a daily record for Blacksburg in terms of high temperatures. 54 degrees was the recorded high so far today in Blacksburg at the Virginia Tech Airport. And that beats the previous record set in 1992 when we had 58-degree weather for that day. Roanoke right now, not quite the coldest for a daily record, but 57 degrees, about 3 degrees warmer than what we saw back in 1961. Now, why is this happening? Well, a lot of it has to do with the mountains and the fact that we have a lot of cold air kind of dammed up behind the Appalachian Mountains. And that, in turn, is why you see areas further to the west, such as Nashville at 73, Knoxville 69, and even Bristol at 69, whereas we have us at 53 degrees currently, 55 in Lynchburg, and further up I-81, 54 in Harrisonburg. But then you go east, Richmond, it's 60 degrees right now. Tomorrow, similar situation, just a little bit warmer as that cool air starts to head further to the northeast, but we're still going to be in the 60s. Watching this storm, going to want to be careful with how fast it's moving to the northeast, as it's going to be fast moving all day. That's what we're going to watch with this system. A lot of straight line wind damage. So even if there is not a tornado within that area, certainly going to be damaging winds within the next few minutes in those areas. And we're going to have to watch this as it gets up into parts of Henry, Fork Mountain over the next 15 to 20 minutes. Aaron is currently a Category 2 storm and has weakened significantly since yesterday. That's mostly in part due to a lot of wind shear in the area, bringing in drier air and essentially tearing the storm up. It's expected to stay a Category 2 for the next few days, but will very well create issues with rip currents along the East Coast from the northeast. Right now at our downtown Roanoke Skycam, you can see where quite a bit of rainfall is coming down at the moment. We've heard it here at the station and been watching that cell as it's a little bit stronger than what we've seen elsewhere in the region. Now, this is one thing I do want to take a look at real quick, and that's going to be the rainfall rate with this system. As you can see, it's very slow moving. This storm is only moving about 15 miles per hour, but some of the rainfall rates are quite impressive on this storm, anywhere from about 5 up to 7 inches per hour with some of these rainfall rates. So the fact that this is a slow-moving storm, but with these substantial rates, could lead to some isolated cases of flash flooding pretty easily within our viewing area. Can't talk about winter weather without talking about some of the most extreme weather we see during the winter up on the mountaintops. And today, we're up on Apple Orchard Mountain. If you're hiking the Appalachian Trail heading northbound, you won't see peaks like these until you're up towards New Hampshire in the White Mountains. The weather's perfect. It really is. There's nothing to complain about with the weather today. Going to be a very mild day. Pretty typical for what you see here in early November, with plenty of sunshine as well, calm conditions, and most importantly, no rainfall. Most widespread margin between her and Winsome Earl Sears. And you saw areas that are typically red turn blue for Spanberger. One notable area within our area, Nelson County, for example. Lynchburg also flipped from what you saw when Governor Youngkin was running back in 2021, where Nelson County, Montgomery County as well, and Lynchburg were all red. Now, the margins were a little closer with the lieutenant governor's race between Ghazala Hashmi and John Reed, but still a rather significant difference, just not quite the difference with what we saw between Spanberger and Earl Sears. However, the Attorney General's race, Jay Jones and Jason Miyares, As most expected, the tightest race between the three major races here within the state of Virginia. However, there are a lot of people that consider this an upset. With our partnership with Johns Hopkins, we've been watching as flu rates have steadily increased here over the past few weeks, along with COVID and RSV. But COVID and RSV have not increased to the level that the flu is currently right now. You probably know somebody that has the influenza virus, and it's certainly spreading around rapidly within our area. As for what we can expect here going forward, that post-holiday surge certainly looks likely to continue as counties across the nation and in the Commonwealth are reporting lower than average flu vaccination rates.
Claus himself is here with me tonight at Illuminites. Now, Santa.
Yes, sir.
We're getting close to Christmas. You got to make your way back. So when can folks come out to see you?
Tonight and tomorrow night. After that, I'm headed back north so I can get the reindeer hooked up and bags loaded up, and we'll be on our way.
And now it's certainly going to be a little bit warmer here for the next few days, and after that cold front passes and brings in some showers, possibly in the next 48 hours, your flying forecast looks perfect for it.
Great.
So Santa, I'm curious, what is your favorite attraction here at Illuminites?
I love the underwater attraction. It's new this year. They've just got so many wonderful things to see here, but that was one that really drew my eye.
And that's certainly one that I'm looking forward to going and seeing tonight. I mean, right now, we're already seeing a pretty nice turnout here within Explorer Park, and I think that's going to continue over the next few hours. But, Santa, you're going to be a popular man in demand here over the next few weeks or so.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great time of year. Looking forward to giving them gifts.
So, let me ask you this question. What list am I on?
Well, we'll put you on the good list for now. Let's see if you stay there. You got a week.
I got a week. I got a week to not mess it up. So, again, you heard it here first. If you do want to end up seeing Santa, come on out tonight or tomorrow night to Explore Park, because afterwards, Santa's got to hit the sleigh and get back to get ready. Back to you guys.
Merry Christmas.
As for when we usually see these colors really start to peak, well, we're only a couple of weeks away from it. Usually it's around October 19th to the 26th, and there's quite a few areas where you can go and see some of that fall foliage as well. Anywhere from Raven's Roost all the way down to Mabry Mill, some great spots. That raining pattern is just going to continue. Looking right now at satellite radar, you can see that one cell that is right over parts of the Star City. Now that's going to be giving way to more convection, so more thunderstorm development here over the next few hours. By Thursday, we're back into the 80s, which is still cooler than average, but only by about 3 degrees. But watch what happens for Friday. Friday, we end up back to 81. Richmond ends up 88, and this is a result of some of that northwesterly flow. But as we get more flow from the south, we're going to have a few days where we get a little bit warmer. Saturday, about 83 degrees, which would be right on average for this time of year. And after that, we start cooling down more. Looking at the Meteorologist forecast for tonight, 6 p.m., 73 degrees. We're dropping into the 60s later on, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. So Metallica goes on at 8:30, so likely going to be within the 60-degree range there, but certainly going to be an epic night for Metallica, for Blacksburg. Friday, we have a lot more moisture coming into the area, and it's largely due because of two pressure systems. That low pressure system further to the west and our Bermuda high pressure system in the Atlantic, funneling a lot of this moisture up within our region, and that's been why we've been so rainy.
We've had quite a few delays here throughout the course of the day, some of which have been up to 3 to 4 hours. Now, this isn't just limited to Roanoke. We've seen this all across the eastern seaboard. Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C. has had an average delay time of about 107 minutes. That's the average time due to the fact that the winds have been kicking here over the course of the day following the passage of that frontal system that brought in that severe weather we saw yesterday.
And if you're thinking it's been a cooler than average August and a chilly one nonetheless, well, you're not wrong. We're in the top 5 for coldest August on record here within Roanoke and for the region as a whole. And as you can see, we're going to continue to be rather chilly here for the next few days as we go into September as well.
It's dry out there, which is huge for an election day.
It really is. I mean, historically, we've seen better voter turnout on days where we've seen dry weather on election day, and that certainly appears like it's going to be the case today. So hopefully The voter turnout ends up correlating with the nice weather that we're going to see today. It's going to be very dry today. Temperatures rather mild. Winds dying down, but that doesn't last long. Wind's going to start kicking back up tomorrow, and then rain chances return later on during the weekend. As for today, though, again, waking up to a nice sunrise in Wytheville. Election day, going to be a rather tranquil one, at least in terms of the weather. But overall, temperature is going to be in the 40s here right now. 45 for Roanoke, Blacksburg about 41, a little bit chillier up towards parts of the Highlands. But overall, clear skies to start your morning out. If you're heading to the polls today, open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. today. Be sure you get your vote out if you haven't already. But overall, if you have to wait in line whatsoever, it's not going to be all that bad today. I mean, really just going to be a gorgeous day. Plenty of sunshine, maybe a little bit more cloud cover in the afternoon, but nothing that's going to disrupt anything. 62 by about noon. So if you do have to wait in line whatsoever for polls, you're not going to need to wait all that long. Your 10 to 10 for today. We get up to 64 degrees here by 3 to 4 p.m. with partly cloudy skies in the afternoon and then clearing up in the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow. Temperatures dropping into the 40s later on tonight. But temperatures for today, your highs, going to be pretty mild, if not a degree or two above average for this time of year. Roanoke about 64, Blacksburg, you're at 62, Lynchburg 64 as well, Danville, South Boston, both 66 degrees, pretty warm. And as for parts of the Highlands, about 62 in Covington and 63 for Lexington. Now, as we go into the next few days, we're going to be looking at quite a few temperature fluctuations here for this first full week of November. 64 today. We go into later tomorrow. We get up to about 71, so much warmer than what we usually see this time of year, about 8 to 10 degrees above average. 62 for Thursday, and then going into Friday, we cool back down to 63, and then Saturday back up to 65. And then after this, we're going to see a cold front move through that really changes the outlook on our temperatures. Now, that cold front going to move through overnight Friday into Saturday. So the good news with that is the rain comes in overnight. Does not affect your day plans for Friday or Saturday, really. Just the overnight hours. And then as we go into Saturday afternoon and evening, we're nice and clear. And then more rainfall comes in early Sunday morning from the southern areas in parts of the Carolinas as yet another cold front appears to push through. That secondary cold front's going to be the reason we have temperatures drop from 63 to 50 between Sunday and Monday. But as for this week, we're going to be wrapping up the week with temperatures in the 60s and chances of rain for the weekend.